Hello and welcome to Prelims Practice 2020, a series of videos where we guide you to excel in prelims examination by taking help from past year question papers. Now these series of videos are available for both static as well as current portions. Now as far as static videos are concerned, we have already launched them as far as polity, environment and geography is concerned, and we are dealing with the current affairs on a month by month basis. Now this is a video on current affairs of first part of the November. And few very important things happened. For example, the merger of Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli with that of Daman and Diu. Also, various defense exercises took place. But before we start the discussion, let me introduce you to a better way to learn from prelims practice videos. All our prelims practice videos will be available on our online portal called elearn.rausias.com. For those of you who are not aware of Elearn, Elearn is Raus' new online learning portal. We have designed it specifically for UPSC aspirants, keeping in mind the learning and testing requirements of the civil services exam. Now Nagendra sir has recorded a short intro video of Elearn which is available on YouTube, and the link to the same is available in the description of this video as well. We suggest that you watch that video for a quick overview of Elearn platform. Also, given the COVID-19 situation wherein availability of study material like Focus magazine and Prelims Compass books is disrupted, we have made PDFs of all these free on Elearn. There is a lot you can do on this platform. However, let me come directly to prelims practice videos and what I want to recommend to you. Now, apart from the video, the MCQs we discuss in our prelims practice videos will be available as a prelims quiz located right below the video. I suggest that you first take the quiz and after that watch the video. How will this help? Because obviously you will be able to test your current level of knowledge and test taking skills. If you watch the video after that, you will naturally end up gaining deeper perspective. After watching the video, you can also download the PDF of the MCQs by clicking the download notes button located right below the video. The PDFs of our previous prelims practice videos are also available on their respective video pages. It's a start. We'll keep listening to you and continue making tools to help amplify your learning. Do let us know what you feel by leaving your comments in the section at the bottom of this page. Let's begin with our discussion. Now the first question is based on Iran's nuclear program. In the month of November, Iran had announced that it would inject uranium gas into around 1,000 centrifuges that had previously been kept empty under its 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. As you know that in 2015, Iran had struck the nuclear deal, also known as Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action with P5+1. And that had broken down after Mr. Donald Trump became the President of United States of America. And as a retaliation to that, Iran had announced that it will re-pursue its nuclear program, and that news became important in the month of November, and hence we have formed this question. Now apart from this, UPSC has asked a lot of questions related to various kinds of nuclear programs and technologies. For example, in 2018, a question was asked in the Indian context: what is the implication of ratifying the additional protocol with the International Atomic Energy Agency, that is IAEA, is nothing but a mechanism which was created under India-US nuclear deal, and it was meant to provide greater access to International Atomic Energy Agency to monitor India's civilian nuclear program. And hence, the right answer is A, that after ratifying the additional protocol with the IAEA, our civilian nuclear reactors like the one in Kudankulam and another in Narora will come under IAEA safeguards. Similarly, a question was asked in 2017 related to nuclear security summits. The statement 1 read, "The nuclear security summits are periodically held under the aegis of United Nations." And the statement 2 read, "The International Panel on Fissile Materials is an organ of International Atomic Energy Agency." So statement 1 is obviously incorrect because the nuclear security summits were an initiative of United States, and it has nothing to do with United Nations. Whereas International Panel on Fissile Materials is an independent group of arms control and non-proliferation experts, and hence it has nothing to do with IAEA, and hence this statement is also incorrect, which leads us to the right answer D, neither one nor two. So you can see that various mechanisms, international treaties, as well as news related to nuclear or atomic energy or arms become very important. And hence we have formulated this question, which reads, which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1, Natanz and Fordow are sites in Iran where it conducted the nuclear tests. And statement 2, uranium 235 enrichment is required for making weapons, whereas uranium 238 enrichment is required for civil nuclear purposes. Now, both these statements are incorrect. So, if you are keeping touch with current affairs, you must have heard these two names. And these two places appear in news mainly because Iran is carrying out their enrichment at these two sites. And these are not the places where Iran has conducted its nuclear tests. So it is important in the prelims examination that you read the statement very carefully. And hence this statement is incorrect. Whereas the second statement is incorrect because uranium 235 is the main fissile isotope of uranium, which means that what makes uranium special or radioactive or worthy of producing energy or creating a bomb is the isotope, which is uranium 235, whereas uranium 238 isotope is a stable one. So either for making weapons or for using it to create energy like in nuclear power plants, we need uranium 235 enrichment. And hence this statement is also incorrect, which leads us to the right answer D, neither one nor two. Now the next question deals with an important report which was released in November 2019, known by the name of India Justice Report 2019. So before discussing this question, let's have a look at two of the questions asked in past years related to various reports. Now in 2019, a question was asked, the Global Competitiveness Report is published by, and the answer is World Economic Forum. The Global Competitiveness Report is an annual publication by World Economic Forum. Similarly, in 2016, the question was asked that Global Financial Stability Report is prepared by, and the right answer is International Monetary Fund. So you can realize that how important it is for us to memorize various kinds of reports and indices released by international organizations and few of the important reports released by Indian institutions such as RBI, Niti Aayog and ministries. And similarly, India Justice Report 2019 becomes important because it ranked Indian states according to their capacity to deliver justice to all. And let's now discuss this question. Consider the following statements about the India Justice Report 2019. Statement 1. The report was prepared by Tata Trust. This statement is correct, although there were other partners as well. And if the statement had contained only word at the last, this statement would have been wrong. But since statement says that report was prepared by Tata Trust, this statement becomes correct. But apart from Tata Trust, this report was prepared along with the collaboration of Center for Social Justice, Common Cause and Commonwealth Human Rights Initiatives. The second statement reads that it's the first ever ranking of Indian states on justice delivery. Now generally it is advised that whenever a statement contains extremes like first and last or every or only, that could be a wrong statement. But this statement has been specifically made because this is correct. It is indeed the first ever ranking of Indian states on justice delivery. And statement third is also correct as Maharashtra was rated as first among all the states as far as its capacity to deliver justice to all its citizens is concerned, which leads us to the right answer D, 1, 2 and 3. The next question which we have taken relates to minimum support prices, an important framework in Indian agriculture which Indian government uses not only to increase the production of limited number of crops but to also provide farmers with viable economic options. So let's first discuss the questions which have been asked by UPSC related to MSPs. In 2019, UPSC asked this question. The economic cost of food grains to the Food Corporation of India is minimum support price and bonus, if any, paid to the farmers plus. So this question basically wants to test your understanding regarding MSPs. And it wants to know that what is the total burden which is taken on by FCI apart from MSP. And the right answer is that apart from MSP and bonus, procurement incidentals and distribution cost is also borne by FCI. Because the economic cost or the total cost borne by FCI not only includes the MSP or the procurement price of food grains, but it also includes costs related to procurements such as labor costs and various kinds of tolls and taxes, as well as the costs incurred in making that grain reach to the beneficiary, which is the cost of distribution, and hence the right answer is C. Another question on MSP was asked in 2018, and this was a very difficult question. As in order to answer this question successfully, it was necessary to memorize all the crops for which MSP is given. As the CACP recommends MSPs for 23 commodities, it was important for you to memorize all of them in order to be able to answer this question. If you had memorized all the 23 items, you would have known that MSP is not announced for areca nut, coffee, and turmeric. And hence, the right answer is the one which contains 2, 4, 5, and 6, which is B. So you can understand that the questions which have been asked as far as MSP is concerned have been a little bit detailed one. And hence it is important for us to frame another question which also tests your basic understanding. And hence this question has been formed. Which of the following approach is used for calculating the MSP? Now, in order to be able to answer this question, you first need to understand what is A2 and what is FL. Now, these two terms deal with the cost. Now, A2 includes cost of inputs such as seeds, fertilizers, and labors, whereas FL is the implied cost of family labor which the farmer actually puts into the field. Similarly, another term C2 was recommended by Mr. M.S. Swaminathan, who headed the National Commission on Farmers. And C2 approach means that the MSP should not only include A2, which means the input cost, as well as FL, but apart from these two, it should also include the implied rent on land and interest on capital assets. And hence, C2 approach is considered to be the most comprehensive approach which can be used to calculate MSP. But that is not the question. The question is that which of the following approach is used for calculating the MSP? And the right answer is A. CACP recommends the MSP based on A2 plus FL approach, and generally the MSPs are fixed at least 50% more than the cost of production as calculated according to A2 plus FL approach, and hence the right answer is A. The questions related to the states, their neighboring states, the number of the neighboring states, and the routes between the two states become important from the perspective of prelims examination. And it can be easily demonstrated by taking a question of 2017 which asked, if you travel by road from Kohima to Kottayam, what is the minimum number of states within India through which you can travel, including the origin and the destination? So basically the question wanted you to know the shortest distance between Kohima and Kottayam in terms of the number of states. And hence the shortest route from Kohima, which is in Nagaland, to Kottayam, which is in Kerala, passes through Nagaland, Assam, West Bengal, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. And hence, the right answer is B, 7. Now, in the month of November, the Naga peace talks were in news a lot because it ended on an ambiguous note. The organization, which is NSCM-IM, has accused the union government to have backtracked on its commitments made in the Historic Framework Agreement signed in 2015. So in this respect, it becomes important for us to cover few of the important aspects related to Nagaland. The question reads, which of the following statements are correct with regard to Nagaland? The statement 1 reads, the provisions related to 6th schedule are applicable to entire Nagaland. Now this statement is incorrect, as the provisions related to 6th schedule are not applicable in Nagaland, but they are applicable in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram, and not in Nagaland. Similarly, the second statement is also incorrect because the state shares boundary with 3 states, which are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam and Manipur. This leads us to the right answer, neither one nor two. Another important aspect related to Nagaland is that you need inner line permit to enter into Nagaland, along with Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram. But recently the government has amended that act, and now the inner line permit is required to enter into Manipur as well. So in total there are 4 states now where you require an inner line permit to enter into those states. Let's now move on to the next question. UPSC in the past years have asked questions related to basic sciences. For example, in 2017, the question was asked, the terms event horizon, singularity, string theory and standard model are sometimes seen in news in the context of? And the right answer is observation and understanding of the universe. Now, as you know, that string theory is the one which links together all physical aspects, and standard model unifies the 4 fundamental forces, whereas the singularity means location in space-time where the gravitational field of celestial body becomes infinite. And event horizon is that boundary between space and time. So these are the terms which keep on appearing in newspapers. So similarly, we have framed this question for you for the month of November, because 2 Indian astrophysicists with international collaborators have provided the first direct observational evidence to explain the mechanism that give rise to jet-like eruptions of solar material observed across the sun's surface. Now this study will also unravel the long-standing puzzle of why the sun's outer atmosphere or the solar corona is hotter than its surface. And this news made a lot of headline during that month, and hence it is important for us to cover this question. Which of the following statements are correct? Statement 1. The visible surface of the sun is known as photosphere. Now this statement is correct because you might know that sun has 6 regions: the core, the radiative zone, the convective zone in the interior, the visible surface which is known as photosphere, the chromosphere and the outermost region known as corona. So it is important to remember here that photosphere is although the visible surface of the sun, but it is not the outermost. Now the electric currents in the sun generate a complex magnetic field that extends out into space to form the interplanetary magnetic field, and hence this statement is also correct, which leads us to the right answer C, both 1 and 2. Now it is also important to discuss few things here. Now as the interplanetary magnetic field migrate out from the sun, the volume of space controlled by the sun's magnetic field is called heliosphere. Now the sun's magnetic field is carried out through the solar system by solar wind, which is a stream of electrically charged gas blowing outward from the sun in all the directions. So from the basic science perspective, the terms like heliosphere, solar wind and sunspots become important. Now what are sunspots? Now sunspots are temporary phenomena on the sun's photosphere, that is the visible layer, that appear as spots darker than the surrounding areas. Now they are the regions of reduced surface temperature caused by concentrations of magnetic field that inhibit convection. Similarly, a question was asked in 2016 examination. Which of the following statements are correct? Viruses can infect bacteria, fungi and plants. Now viruses are such creatures which can infect any living being, and hence all these 3 statements are correct. Now you must know that since viruses cannot multiply on their own, they have to invade a host cell and take over its machinery in order to be able to make more viruses particles like them. Now you must have read in the newspaper that various crops during various times in the year get infected by virus diseases, leading to a huge downfall in their production. Similarly, you must have read the news related to a virus known as bacteriophage, which infects bacteria. And similarly, it can also infect fungi. And hence, the right answer is D, 1, 2, and 3. So, in the month of November, a similar news related to avian botulism phenomena became important. A news appeared with respect to large number of death of birds in Sambar Lake, which is, as you should know, Ramsar wetland site in India located in the state of Rajasthan. Now it is a large lake fed by four streams set in shallow wetland and subject to seasonal fluctuations. And it is also the second largest breeding ground for flamingos in India. And hence we shall understand what avian botulism stands for. So the question, consider the following statements about avian botulism disease. Statement 1, it is an illness of birds caused by virus. Now this first statement is incorrect because avian botulism is a serious neuromuscular illness of birds caused by a toxin that is produced by a bacteria Clostridium botulinum. Now, avian botulism has been recognized as a major cause of mortality in wild birds since 1900s. It is not true that it cannot infect or affect humans, as humans can become sick from botulism typically by eating improperly canned or stored foods. Besides this, humans and pets are primarily at risk only if they eat infected fish, birds, or maggots. And hence the right answer is D, neither one nor two. Then questions related to UNESCO and various measures taken by it become important with respect to art and architecture. So in the month of November, Hyderabad was recognized officially as one of the cities under UNESCO's Creative Cities Network. And hence, in this respect, it becomes important for us to understand few things related to it. So first we'll discuss the question. Statement 1. Total 4 cities in India have been designated under UNESCO Creative Cities Network so far. Now this statement is incorrect because including Hyderabad, which was designated just recently, there are total 5 cities under UNESCO Creative Cities Network from India, which are Mumbai, Varanasi, Chennai, Jaipur and Hyderabad. So there are total 5 cities now. And hence the statement 1 is incorrect. The second statement says Hyderabad has been designated as UNESCO Creative City of Gastronomy. Now this is correct. So when the categorization of these cities under Creative City Network occurs, they are designated in a specialized area. So for example, Mumbai has been designated in the field of films. Varanasi and Chennai have been designated in the field of music. Jaipur has been designated in the field of crafts and folk, whereas Hyderabad, as you can see, is under Creative City of Gastronomy. Now, UNESCO Creative Cities Network was created in 2004 as a network of cities which are thriving, active centers of cultural activities in their respective countries. In total, there are 246 cities across the world. The member cities that form the part of this network come from all the continents and regions with different income levels and population. Now there are total 7 categories: crafts and folk arts, design, film, gastronomy, music, media arts and literature. And you can see that Indian cities have been categorized in 4 such categories. Now the natural question which arises that what are the benefits of joining the network? Now by joining the network, cities commit to sharing their best practices and developing partnerships involving the public and private sectors as well as civic societies in order to strengthen the creation, production and distribution and dissemination of these cultural heritages. So for example, since Hyderabad has recently got entry as a creative city of gastronomy, it will become easier for the culinary skills of Hyderabad to spread across the world. So this is the significance of being enlisted in Creative Cities Network of UNESCO. Let's now move on to the next question. Now changes made in the Indian Constitution as well as its federal structure become important, and that can be shown easily by having a look at a question asked in 2019. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. The 44th Amendment to the Constitution of India introduced an article placing the election of Prime Minister beyond judicial review. Now this statement is incorrect, as the amendment which did so was 39th Amendment to the Constitution of India, which removed the authority of the Supreme Court to adjudicate petitions regarding elections of President, Vice President, Prime Minister and Speaker of Lok Sabha. Now, the second statement says the Supreme Court of India struck down 99th Amendment to the Constitution of India as being violative of the independence of judiciary. And this statement is correct because the 99th Amendment to the Constitution of India amended the Article 124 and introduced National Judicial Appointment Commission as a body which would be tasked with appointing judges to the higher judiciary. Now, Supreme Court ruled NJAC as unconstitutional because of the composition of that body, which presented a problem of executive interference in the appointment of judges, the details of which can be read in our Focus magazine. So you can see that such changes are important from the perspective of prelims examination. So in the month of November, a bill was tabled in Parliament, the Dadra, Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu Merger of Union Territories Bill 2019. The bill talked about merger of these two union territories into a single one. Although it is not a constitutional amendment, but the bill would lead to the amendment of the first schedule to the constitution, which specifies the territories that come under various states and UTs. So accordingly, we will consider the question. Consider the following statements about Union Territory of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. So this is the combined union territory. The Gujarat High Court will be the High Court for the new Union Territory of the combined UT of Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu. Now this statement is incorrect as the High Court of Bombay will have jurisdiction over the combined UT and hence the statement 1 is incorrect. Now it is correct that both these areas belong to the Portuguese administration before 1960s. And also the combined entity will share the border with Maharashtra and hence the right answer is B, 2 and 3 only. Now it is important for you to keep into mind that what are the changes which have occurred in the total number of states and UTs after this bill has passed. Now you should keep in mind that Jammu Kashmir is no more a state and has been divided into union territories. And these two union territories have been combined. So answer in the comment section that what is the current number of states and UTs in our country right now. Let's now move on to the next question. Now the questions related to defense exercises are very important from the perspective of prelims examination. For example, this question asked in 2017, consider the following in respect of Indian Ocean Naval Symposium. Statement 1. Inaugural IONS was held in India in 2015 under the chairmanship of Indian Navy. Now this statement is incorrect as the Indian Ocean Naval Symposium is a voluntary initiative that seeks to increase maritime cooperation among navies of the littoral states of Indian Ocean region by providing an open and inclusive forum for discussion of regionally relevant maritime issues. The inaugural session was held in 2008 and not in 2015 and hence this statement is incorrect. And you can see that the second statement is obviously correct. It is indeed a voluntary initiative as we just discussed, which leads us to the right answer B, 2 only. Now in November 2019, an important military exercise known by the name of Dastalik conducted. Which of the following statements are correct with regard to Dastalik 2019? Statement 1. It is the first ever India-China joint exercise. Statement 2. It will be focused on counter-terrorism. Now statement 1 is incorrect because neither it is an exercise between India and China and nor it is the first one. Now it is an exercise between India and Uzbekistan which was conducted at Chirchik training area near Tashkent and focused on counter-terrorism, an area in which the two countries share a common concern. And hence this statement 2 is correct, which leads us to the right answer B, 2 only. Now similarly, three other military exercises became important in the month of November, which are Kazind, Dharma Guardian and Ex-Ecurevan. The question reads, in the context of Indian military exercises, consider the following pairs. And you have to choose the pairs which are correctly matched. Now statement 1 is that Kazind is India-Kyrgyzstan military exercise. Now this is incorrect as Kazind is India-Kazakhstan military exercise. And the fourth edition of Joint Indo-Kazakhstan military exercise was conducted at Pithoragarh in Uttarakhand in 2019. Similarly, Dharma Guardian is India-Japan military exercise and not that with UK, and hence the second statement is also incorrect. Now, the second edition of bilateral annual military exercise Dharma Guardian 2019 between India and Japanese Army was conducted at Counter-Insurgency and Jungle Warfare School at Verengate, Mizoram. And third statement is correct, as the 10th edition of joint military exercise known as Exercise Equivalent between Indian Army and the Maldives National Defence Force was organized at Pune in 2019, which leads us to the right answer A, 3 only. With this, we have come to the end of discussion on the first part of the November. There shall be another video on November. Stay tuned on Raus IAS channel for more videos on the Hindu news analysis as well as Prelims Practice 2020.